How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a crazy story from St. Matthews, Kentucky, which is in the Louisville area. Now, we all know that we got Halloween coming around, and people had the yards decorated a certain kind of way. You might have a scarecrow or a crazy bloody murder scene or something that is just kind of scary, right? Well, this particular family out here in St. Matthews had a different type of decoration thing going on in their yard. And before I get into it, we got to watch the video. In this video, this is a clip from local news out there in Kentucky. You're going to see what they had in their yard and their explanation for having it and how some of the kids are reacting to what was in their yard. After we get done with that, I'll talk about what was said there. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Decorations are filling front yards all over the city right now. But on Perryman Road in St. Matthews, one family's decorations are not like the others. They will make you stop and think. As the night team's Jesse Cohen shows us, it's all an effort to create a much bigger conversation.
At first glance, especially on a rainy day, this could be any other Halloween display.
This is the time of year where everybody brings their decorations out.
But then you stop.
It's still Halloween themed.
And notice just how real it is.
Breonna Taylor murdered March 13th, 2020.
That we chose to really bring our feelings from how we feel and bring it outside so that everybody else can see that as well.
Maggie McCreary and her family didn't want to be just another house on the block.
We really wanted to take Halloween and use this as a template to really express how we feel in our family about Black Lives Matter.
Their front yard has turned into a Black Lives Matter graveyard.
His name wasn't really talked about. It wasn't mentioned. So we gave him a flower to make him feel extra special. Freddie and Gray murdered
just because of the color of their skin.
Yeah.
It's really disturbing the amount of names that you could choose.
Too many stories to count.
The way that he was saying he couldn't breathe. And
but all too real to forget, making these kids pause in their yard.
It's sad because all these people died just because of the color of their skin.
Front and center this Halloween.
Kind of have it in your face a little bit more, and I'm hoping that it's a great way for children to be brought into this conversation.
This family hoping they don't have to add any more names to these tombstones.
I feel like we're all just people, and the color of your skin shouldn't matter.
All right, you saw that, you heard that. Now, that was ridiculous. First things first, elephant in the room for me. Yes, that was a black and a white person in a relationship, married or whatever. Okay, you have an interracial couple. Now, I don't care about interracial couples. If you are married to somebody of different race, so what? Don't care. That's your business. It's all good. Long as ain't nobody getting whooped on or nothing like that, then fine with me. That's great. You're both human beings and you're of age. Great. The issue is that with a lot of these super woke folks that say the white man is the devil, be married to the white man. It's like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? You got this dude over here. I hate whitey, except for my wife. It's like, all right. Another example is Don Lemon married to a whole white man, but did a whole series on CNN talking about how white men are the most dangerous on the planet. It's like, all right, man, look, just be consistent. If you hate whitey so much, don't be married to whitey at the same time. But I digress. That was kind of the elephant in the room for me. But these parents, or whoever they are, need to get locked up. They need to be in Gitmo making big rocks and the little rocks, because this was ridiculous to have kids believing in this nonsense. How can you say that anyone out there in that makeshift graveyard was killed because of the color of their skin? How can you say that? All right. Now, of course, they had the biggest tombstone in the yard for Breonna Taylor because she was killed right there in Louisville. So that's real near and dear to them. They're probably seeing that on the news every night. Friends talking about it, family talking about it, the whole 9 yards. So, of course, it's going to be the biggest one. I guess she's more important. I guess her death is more important than the other deaths that are in the yard. And all the deaths in the yard are more important than regular victims of black on black violence. Okay, if you really want to talk about those that are being killed and there's been no justice served for them, because let's be clear, most people that get shot, killed in the black community, their crime goes unsolved. I think Chicago's like, 80% non-clearance rate. So only about 10, 20, 30% of cases ever get solved. Somebody winds up dead in an alley somewhere, or, they might get shot through the window and die, and nobody knows who did it. Nobody gets arrested. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Ain't nobody gonna quote unquote snitch. That's what's going on. So if you really want to talk about people that get killed unjustly, that are black and not white or anything else for some reason, but different story, I digress. If you want to talk about that, and let's talk about it, don't just have it be people that get killed or die within police custody. And here's the next part of it. You got these kids who don't know any better. The kids are being told by the adults. The kids are not going to go out there and think that somebody gets killed because of the color of their skin. It's the adults doing it. It's the parents doing it. It's teachers doing it. It's those that should have some sense, that are their guardians or people that are responsible for their education. They're the ones that are telling these kids this. All right. These kids don't know anything about what's going on beyond what the adults in their life tell them. How many of these people were actually killed by the police? Some of them just died in police custody. I saw Daniel Prude's name up there, and that was a young man that died up there in Rochester, New York. Now, I thought what happened was he was on drugs and probably had excited delirium and wound up dying as a result of that. I don't think the police had to shoot him or anything else. I don't think they even had to beat up on him. They got him on the ground and got him handcuffed, and he eventually died, probably because of the drugs that he was on. All right. I think his brother called the police because he was behaving erratically, and he wanted the police to come to get him under control. And that's what they did. But unfortunately, he died. Now, is that the police fault? Is that the fault of the brother? Whose fault is that really? You can't blame the police for that. And then the same thing with Breonna Taylor, the biggest tombstone, the quote unquote most important one. Whose fault is it that she died? Yes, she got killed by the police, but it wasn't their fault. And it really wasn't her fault. It was the boyfriend's fault, Kenneth Walker, because he decided to shoot at the police first and then duck away and then push her in front. So when the police returned fire, which of course they're going to do, she got shot up. She got all the bullets. Rather than protecting her, rather than shielding her, before he shot his gun, he just did that and let her get shot. Okay, that's a coward, big coward. All right, it's his fault that she died, nobody else's, because if they would have just not shot back, or if he would have shot back and before he did that, protect her, she would still be living. No, this whole thing about, oh, well, because of the color of their skin, how are you going to prove that anybody in that so-called graveyard got killed because of the color of their skin? How can you prove that? All right. It's not just black folks that get killed by police or that die in police custody. You got white folks, Asians, Hispanics, everybody. Okay. And if you have more police interaction because of how you live in the community, there's a higher chance of you dying within police custody. If you have a higher chance of being combative and fighting the police, there's going to be a higher chance of you being shot by police, of you being injured by the police or something to that extent. So this whole thing about, people just getting killed because of the color of their skin, it's just bogus. And I think that it's really bogus that you got these kids believing it. All right. If you were to teach these kids to just act right, do right, then that would bode more, that'll help them more than saying, oh, they got killed because they're black or killed because of whatever. And then what about these white kids that are out there? What does that tell them? That they're the devil, that they're a demon? What's going to end up happening if these kids internalize that and they believe that? These are little kids too. So this will be their basis of their knowledge. If they carry that all throughout their life and they believe it, they're going to be the ones that are out there screeching and hollering and cussing and fussing. The white folks say they hate white people are the devil, all this and that. Meanwhile, they don't want to live around black folks. They want to live in the white area, but that's a different story. They will be the ones that hate white people, and they'll be the ones that are out there with Antifa and whatnot, destroying black neighborhoods, all in the sense of Black Lives Matter, all in the name of Black Lives Matter. And then the black folks that are hearing this whole rhetoric about the white man's bad, he's going to keep you down, you can't do anything without the white man's help. He's going to grow up with that kind of mentality to where he must kind of like be extra violent or be extra scared, be a coward. Like Kenneth Walker throwing his girlfriend out there after he shoots. If you shoot at anybody, you must be prepared to get some shots back. So what he did was cowardly. And you're raising a generation of cowards, people that hate themselves, and those that may go out there and commit violence because they're scared. You see, one thing I noticed as I close, you never really see Antifa fight a one-on-one fight. You know, they don't attack people in large groups. They try to find isolated, weak targets while they're in a group themselves. That's cowardly actions. If you really want to fight somebody, you really want to confront somebody, do it as a man, one-on-one. Don't do it with a whole group and all that kind of stuff. Like, even when I was a little boy, that was whack. If you jump somebody just because, I mean, you were just seen as whack. You know, girls didn't like that. It was just, oh, he's scared. You have to jump him. That's kind of like nobody likes that. You guys aren't woke. You guys aren't super 3 million IQ. You're just dumb. People look at you with disgust and disdain. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that these so-called parents, guardians, adults, whoever these individuals are, do you think that they're going way too far with this quote-unquote Halloween decoration in the front yard? And also by teaching these kids about black and white, oh, if you're a black person, you're going to get killed by the police because you're black, and people that died, they got killed because of the color of their skin. How do you feel about them teaching these kids this? That's the biggest thing to me. If you want to be a woke SJW, then I can debate you down all day long, but that's your prerogative. But when you involve the kids, now we done gone just a bridge too far. You know, they're getting misinformation, propaganda, all that stuff. It's too much. That's going on all over the place. It's going on in public school, entertainment, just being around in a particular area. It's happening everywhere. And parents got to be more vigilant every day to debrief their children on social issues, because if they don't, then they're going to get taught from the outside world, and what they're taught will be very, very toxic and dangerous, and it can impact them in a negative way throughout the entirety of their life. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.